like to call the city council meeting into session at 7:04. May we have roll call, please, Jeff?
Yes, Counselor Mayton. Present. Counselor Smallwood.
Excused.
Counselor Sheldon. Here. Counselor Ramsayer.
Here.
Counselor Hanley.
Here.
Counselor Hokinson.
Here.
Mayor Walker.
Here. All right, thank you, everybody, for coming tonight. We're gonna start this meeting with a remembrance and acknowledgement resolution, resolution 2026-19. And I'd like everybody to rise while we read this. Resolution 2026-19 is expressing condolences to the victims of the May 31st, 2026 tragedy here in Sandy. The gratitude to first responders and commitment and community healing and resilience. Whereas Sandy experienced a terrible tragedy on May 31st, 2026, resulting in loss of life, serious injuries, and profound pain for families, friends, neighbors, and the surrounding community. And whereas the City Council recognizes that while no words can fully ease our community's grief, it is important to officially honor those we have lost, support those who are hurting, and reaffirm our commitment to care and compassion. And whereas the strength of a community is measured in large part by how it supports one another during times of hardship, loss, and uncertainty. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the City Council of the City of Sandy that the City Council honors the memory of Jenna Mary Overson, Mary Beth Overson, and Coben McClure, who lost their lives during this tragic event, and extends its heartfelt condolences to their families, friends, and loved ones. The City Council expresses its deep gratitude and appreciation for Sandy Police Sergeant Garrett Thornton, who was wounded in the line of duty during the incident, and extends its support to his family, friends, and loved ones during his recovery. The City Council recognizes the service and professionalism of all members of the Sandy Police Department, the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office, Clackamas Fire, and all other first responders who provided support during the incident. The City Council acknowledges the lasting emotional impact this event will have on survivors, witnesses, neighbors, and the broader community, affirms its commitment to community healing, remembrance, and connection, and encourages all residents of Sandy to support one another, extend kindness and compassion to others, and make use of available resources for care, recovery, and resilience. This resolution is adopted by the City Council of the City of Sandy this 8th day of June, 2026. May I have a motion to approve this resolution, please?
I make a motion. We all move to approve this resolution.
A joint motion to approve this resolution. All those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Okay. I'd like to have a moment of silence, please, for the victims and for Sergeant Garrett Thornton and his family. Thank you. While we're standing, let's have the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Tonight's agenda, we have the consent agenda has City Council meeting minutes from our last meeting on May 18th. It has a resolution for modifying and extending the library loan that we have for our library, and a change on the authorized WIFIA loan that we have for our wastewater treatment plant. Just kind of changing it from the Sandy River alternative to something more applicable. That's the consent agenda. Then tonight we have a swearing in of our new officer and an introduction to our new community services officer. We have ordinances, and we'll have a public hearing on ordinances for nuisances affecting public peace. And we've got resolutions for facility plan amendment. Oh gosh, yeah, wahoo. The facility plan amendment adoption, long time coming. And the new business is Mining Park improvements, contracting for the improvements there in just starting after Mountain Festival. So are there any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, let's go ahead and get started with the consent agenda. Oh, do we have any response to previous comments?
We actually did, and I
Excuse me,
didn't have a
public
chance to give this to you,
I'm
Mayor.
sorry,
We did
sorry,
have one
Mark.
sign up for public comment as well.
Yep, got it. Sorry, public comment. Public hearing will take place later on in the agenda. The council welcomes your comments on other matters at this time. I will call on each of you to speak, and you'll have up to 3 minutes. If you're attending the meeting in person, please, I've got the comment form. If you're attending the meeting via Zoom, do we have anybody on Zoom?
We do, but we didn't have any signups today.
Okay, all
By
right.
the 4 p.m. deadline.
Okay, very good. All right, well, let's have Janet Davis.
I was out of order, yes.
Okay.
Left this to the side for photo op and then.
Whatever works for you guys, that's fine.
Good evening. My name is Janet Davis. I live at 40601 Southeast Kuvitz Road, Sandy, which is not within the city limits. Tonight, I'm wearing my hat as the president of the Bull Run Community Association and CPO. And I'm here to comment on pending resolution 2026-18, which is the adoption of the 2026 wastewater facility plan amendment. So this is, I'm using we because I'm speaking for the CPO. We're happy to see that groundwater recharge as the current preferred solution for the city's wastewater and hope that DEQ and EPA approve whatever the final plan turns out to be. We continue to oppose any wastewater discharge into the Sandy River, with our main concern being the temperature of the effluent, especially during times of low flow, which appears to be getting more and more common because of the average snow levels decreasing. Higher effluent temperatures than the actual river would be a problem, especially if the Revenue Bridge site is used for the outfall. As most of you know, it's a very narrow slot canyon, and with temperatures higher than the river would create a thermal barrier that migrating fish would not cross. So obviously there is available technology to mitigate this, such as cooling towers and probably many others. But of course, this would increase the cost of that particular solution, which I hope people keep in mind. The CPO has 2 requests tonight. One, we would like the Public Works Department to make a commitment to attend CPO meetings. We only have 2 a year, to keep our residents updated on what will probably be a very long and complicated process. Second, when the actual amendment is approved by the council, DEQ, and EPA, please make a paper version of it available at the Sandy Library, like the 2019 plan. Those of you reading this kind of highly technical document on a computer is like really difficult. So having a paper product would be really wonderful. And lastly, we applaud the city for being willing to plan and hopefully implement groundwater recharge for wastewater, which has been done other places in the country, but not in Oregon. Thank you for this opportunity to comment.
Thank you, Ms. Dean. Do we have any response to previous comments?
We had one public comment at the last meeting from Mr. Vandehey. The only update that I have for the council this evening is that we, as staff, have a meeting scheduled with him on June 11th, this Thursday, to discuss his project and potential project milestones. So
Great.
follow up with more once we have that conversation.
All right, thank you. Okay, we have the consent agenda. As I said, it has the meeting minutes from our last meeting, including Mr. Vandehey's letter, the resolution for the loan extension for the library, and the resolution for the changes in the WIPIA loan agreement. May I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, please?
I'll motion we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Councilor Sheldon and a second from Councilor Hanley to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor vote aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion passes. All right, here's the fun part. Oh, no, okay, no more. Okay, sorry. Okay. All right, this is the fun part. We'll have Officer Jamie Come on up here. And we're swearing in. And we'll do the swearing in first, and then we'll have opportunities for photos. We go over here in the middle here. Right. Okay. I, Jamie Cuna, do solemnly swear
I, Jamie Cuna, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Oregon
that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Oregon,
and the laws therefore,
and the laws therefore,
and I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of a police officer
and I will faithfully, honestly, and impartially discharge the duties of a police officer
during my continuance therein to the best of my ability, so help me God.
during my continuance therein to the best of my ability, so help me God.
I can get a picture. Get one with them. And would you family?
I was going with my family too.
Yeah.
One up here, these two.
I'm gonna hold that paper for you so you don't have it
Oh,
on
yeah.
work.
Appreciate it. Your child. Make sure you get that cannibal corpse.
Gotta frame it perfectly so you have a halo behind you.
Welcome to the Sandy Police Force. Thank you so much. Have you on? Hi.
Now pull the podium back down. Just need it there. I guess you're speaking the app. Well, do whatever you want to.
Yeah.
Stand wherever you want to.
We got 3 cameras, that's fine.
We're on the fly. We'd like to introduce our new CSO, Logan Stam. So Logan, if you could come on up. It was a very long process to find the right person. So we've been awful glad to have Logan. He's done a great job for us. He's out working. We have our 2 CSOs now. Can you define that for everybody on? The community service officer.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of great work for the city, helping out with our homeless populations and code enforcement. And it's nice to have Logan as an additional body on the team. So I'd just like to give this opportunity to introduce Logan to the community and city council. He's been a good addition. Thank you, Logan.
Picture?
We can do pictures.
We've done a lot. We've done some.
Welcome.
She was, who remembers Anita Stan? All right.
We got that? Thank you. For you, John. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay.
Please stay. You can stay out there, we're in here. You have to stay somewhere.
Okay, next on the agenda, we have public hearings for the ordinances 2026-09. Okay, I will read the opportunity to offer public testimony will occur after the staff report concludes. For folks in the audience or online, the opportunity to offer public testimony for this hearing will occur after the staff report concludes. I'd like to go ahead and open the public hearing at 7:19. for ordinance 2026-09. Are there any abstentions to declare? Hearing none, are there any conflicts of interest to declare? Hearing none, may we please hear the staff report? Kelly, welcome. Or Tyler, whoever wants to kick it off.
I will be very brief because I think I've given you a high level update 3 times on this one over the last couple of months, and Kelly has done a great job of digging into the details on it. But this is part of our ongoing effort to revise the municipal code to make sure it's relevant and up to date. We had several issues with some noise violations and other things that we wanted to address. The staff report outlines the revised hours that you cannot do certain activities. I won't go over those line by line, but those are outlined in the staff report. The other component of this ordinance this evening is adopting some code related to solicitation to ensure that those door-to-door sales type activities are better regulated. Kelly, do you want to give any additional info or specifics?
The only other thing I was going to add, I think that's a perfect summary. The only other thing I was going to add is with the ordinance is Exhibit A, which is the track change version of the code. The only modifications since you saw it last time were to kind of solidify or change a few of the times that are listed under the key considerations and analysis section. There's like some bullet points there that lists some of the changes that occurred since the last work session.
Thanks for summarizing that, actually.
Yeah, and then the only other thing that's included in the packet that I just wanted to point out was we did receive 2 public comments. And I believe to some extent they've both been addressed through the additional modifications you made at the previous work session. So I don't know if they were addressed in full, but they were addressed for the most part.
Those comments were actually received, I think, on the day of the last meeting, but we included them just as a formality in this public hearing
Correct.
packet. Yeah.
And that's all I had, Mayor.
Okay, all right. Here's the process for public testimony. Each person providing testimony must provide their name and address for the record. If you do not wish to state your address publicly, you must provide it to the city recorder before you begin your testimony. This can be done either in person or via email at recorder@ci.sandy.or.us. If you have documents that you wish to be considered by the council, they must be formally placed into the record of this hearing. To do that either before or after you speak, email your materials to recorder@ci.sandy.or.us, and staff will make sure your evidence is properly processed. Please try to avoid repetition. If someone else has already expressed the same thoughts, it's fine to simply state that you agree with the testimony of a previous speaker. To offer public testimony for those joining us in person this evening, please raise your hand to indicate you would like to speak. If you're attending online, click the raise hand button and wait to be recognized. If you're attending via telephone, please dial *9 to raise your hand and wait to be recognized. I will call on each person when it's their turn to speak. Each speaker will receive up to 5 minutes to testify. The city recorder will let you know when you have 20 seconds remaining. Okay, is there anyone here tonight who would like to testify? Last chance. Is there anyone online, Jeff, who'd like to testify?
No, Mayor, I don't see any raised hands.
Okay. Can the staff please give us a recap and recommendation?
Yes, gladly. Staff recommend that the city council adopt ordinance 2026-09 with attached Exhibit A, which includes all the track change edits that were talked about at the April 20th, May 4th, and May 18th work sessions.
Thank you. May I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Make a motion, we close the public hearing.
Second,
I'll second it.
I have a motion from Councilor Sheldon and a second from Councilor Mayton to close the public hearing. All those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion passes. Council discussion. Are there any questions or comments? Of course, I will say one thing. I just noticed that, on the staff report, it just said recreation on private property, excess noise, not allowed between 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. And the actual reference to that, because people did ask about, well, is that me in my backyard hot tub or just what? And no, it's not that. It's the making of noise with a sports ball, racket, and bat, or any similar device in such a manner as to cause loud or disturbing noises to be heard across the property line of the property from which it emanates between the hours of 10 and 7. So just that, I want to make sure that when we do put this on our website, that particular clause mentions the sports ball aspect of it, not just, Other comments?
Thank you for your work, Kelly. I know it's arduous.
Yeah, thank you so much, finally. And I'm really pleased to, there was a lot of folks, already the soliciting has begun. It's, we've had about 4 people knocking on our door.
I think it's about time we stop those steam whistles too, so.
And take the bell off of the.
And
You
the
hate those darn
gramophones.
steam
There was some
whistles.
reference to some really old technology
We let the
that
steam
in the
whistles in
old
there.
code.
The steam
And
whistles
Don
still there.
insisted we change the steam whistles and gramophone clauses. So we were protected from those now. Now, okay, may I have a call for the first reading of ordinance 2026-09, Jeff?
Yes, Mayor, ordinance 2026-09 and ordinance updating the city's regulations on nuisances affecting public peace in chapter 8.20 of the Sandy Municipal Code.
May I have a motion to approve the first reading?
I'll make a motion to approve the first reading.
A second?
I'll second it.
I have a motion from Council Ramsayer and a second from Councilor Hokinson to approve the first reading of ordinance 2026-09. All those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion passes. May I, since the first vote was unanimous, may I get a second reading of the ordinance, please, Jeff?
Yes, ordinance 2026-09 and ordinance updating the city's regulations on nuisances affecting public peace in chapter 8.20 of the Sandy Municipal Code.
All right, thank you. May I have a motion to approve the second reading?
I'll make a motion. We approve the second reading.
I'll second.
I have a motion from Councilor Sheldon and a second from Councilor Ramsayer to approve the second reading of ordinance 2026-09. All those in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion to approve the second reading of ordinance 2026-09 passed. And so that allows this to be implemented immediately, is that?
That's exactly what I was just gonna comment on, is since you just voted with both readings, it is effective now.
Okay, very good, all right.
So hold it down out there.
Solicitors beware. Oh, your leaf blowers.
Thank you, Kelly.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Kelly. Yeah, thank you.
Glad to have that done.
Okay, Jay, that's how it's gotta go.
All right.
Okay, yeah, this is a big step. Our next agenda item is resolution 2026-18, adoption of our 2026 wastewater facility plan amendment. Who's going to kick it off?
I'll just say a couple brief comments. So, it's been about 4 years or so that we've been talking about doing an amendment to the facility plan. So Kelly got off easy in terms of his timeline relative to the facility plan amendment. But we've been working diligently on that. As you all know, the consent decree required it to be adopted sooner than today. But we've done a couple of extensions to evaluate different options and make sure that we were really backing into a project that we believe is attainable and manageable. So we have until June 30th to get this thing adopted and submitted back to EPA. We've talked about this in a work session. We held a town hall or an open house recently. Have tried to be very, transparent and communicative about where we're at in the process and what's being included as the preferred alternative. And so here we are tonight, hopefully at the point of adoption. With that, I'll give it to you, AJ, to add anything you'd like to add.
All right, so I'm ready to bring this thing home, and I hope we all are here. There is not much to add. You will see that there is a track changes document in this meeting packet. There are some DEQ comments that needed to be addressed that were not included in our last copy. Nothing material really for the plan itself, and nothing regarding our intended permanent solution for our long-term discharge.
AJ Airpod, to really quick on that,
Yeah.
I just realized there's a broken link in the staff report and it is this one. And the reason for that is because of the rescheduling of this meeting. I didn't think that, anyhow. So if you want to view that track changes version, just go through our website straight to this meeting rather than the link in the staff report. So sorry about that.
Well, and that's basically the gist of it. We have some minor changes that'll make things slightly different than the document that we've been talking about in public for the last month and a half now, close to that. At this point, I would like to recommend that the council adopts resolution 2026-18 unless we have further questions.
Can you just summarize, please, what the, well, actually, I'll just ask that when we close the public hearing. Or, we didn't have a public hearing, sorry. What was the gist of the comments from DEQ that required changes?
How do you want to know it?
Sure. Yeah, so the comments from DEQ, they received a courtesy copy of the draft as it stood late last year when sending the wastewater to Gresham was still the preferred option. So they had some comments and questions about that, asking for some clarification. And then there were the other main area of comments was just asking for updates with some of the work that's ongoing. They wanted that the descriptions and the dates to be updated to be current with where the city stands with respect to the ongoing work at the treatment plant.
And that's all kind of track changes in this last version.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, no changes to the preferred alternative or any of the pertinent information as, you know, with respect to what our next steps are. It was
Correct.
more just
Yeah.
where we had been, kind of
Yeah.
revisions.
And the only thing I would clarify is that on the staff report, it did talk about the rate increases and things like that, but that's not part of this adoption.
That's correct.
Correct.
Right. So it was just kind of for informational purposes.
Yeah, we were attempting to outline sort of the impact of the three different alternatives that were studied.
Okay. May I get a motion to approve resolution? Any other questions or comments? May I get a motion to approve resolution 2026-18, adoption of the 2026 wastewater facility plan amendment?
I'll make a motion, we approve 2026-18.
Second?
I'll second.
I have a motion from Counselor Sheldon and a second from Counselor Ramsay to approve resolution 2026-18, adopting our 2026 wastewater facility plan amendment. All those voting in favor, vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion passes. Yeehaw. Champagne after meeting.
Before you sit down, Janet's comments earlier today would be, I think they were very appropriate, and I would encourage you to follow up on those.
Already have?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Great. Copy in the library.
Yep, we'll get a copy in the library once EPA and DEQ have approved it. I sent her an email asking for calendar invites for the CPO meetings, and hopefully they're pretty close to home and we'll just wander over that.
Just walk down the
Thank
road.
you so much.
Just a point of logistics for how this works from this point forward. With this adoption, the copy will go to EPA and DEQ. They will likely have some comments in the next few months here. At some point at a later date, this will need to be adopted into the comp plan. And so at that time, it will be adopted with those changes and we'll bring it back to you to talk then.
Would you bring it back to us if there's any significant changes or?
Definitely.
Yeah, if there's just a couple, like, add a date on when this was completed, we'll administratively
Yeah.
do those, but if there's anything that actually, you know, impacts the document itself, we'll be sure to bring that back and highlight it all for your review.
Great, thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
It seems like we should have cake.
I'm going for champagne.
Thanks for the huge amount of work.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Right. Well, I'm gonna shuffle out of here. Thank you, guys.
All right, our next order of business is new business, and it's the contract, another fun, long time coming project, the contract award for mining park improvements.
Feel like we're just closing out some, well, not
Man,
closing out, but you know,
these are
putting a
big
bow
ticket
on a few
items.
All
things
of these
tonight.
projects have been ongoing for a long time.
Yes, they have. So just brief comment from me. You know, we had a council goal to complete Deer Point Park, Mining Park renovations and Tickle Creek Trail restoration. Deer Point Park is 98% complete, just a few finishing touches left over there. And we are ready to break ground at Mining and get the renovations tackled this summer. So with that, Tiana, I'll let you just kind of run through where we're at today.
Hello, everyone. Before you tonight is a request to authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Paul Brothers Incorporated for the mining park improvements. On April 21st, the Parks and Recreation Department issued an invitation to bid for a comprehensive renovation project that includes ADA accessibility improvements, path realignment and resurfacing, landscaping, new park lighting, construction of an entry plaza, site preparation for 3 new picnic pavilions and a restroom. The pavilions have been purchased by the city already, and those will be installed by Romtech as part of the overall project. Staff received 5 competitive bids ranging from $1,170,000 to $1,650,000. After reviewing cost, experience, references, schedule performance, and regulatory compliance, staff determined that Paul Brothers Incorporated submitted the lowest responsible bid at $1,169,047. Staff is also recommending acceptance of an ad alternate in the amount of $42,660 to repave the parking area adjacent to Joe's Donuts and extending the highway to 11. Completing this work concurrently with the park project will improve efficiency, reduce future mobilization costs, and create a more cohesive finished project. The total contract amount is $1,211,707. That is including the ad alternate. Funding for this project is included in the adopted budget and comes from a combination of Parks SDCs, grant funds, and SURA funds. While this is a tight project budget, staff believes that the project is financially viable, and we will continue to closely monitor construction costs, contingencies, and any change orders throughout the implementation. Based on the bid evaluation and qualifications review, staff recommends authorizing the city manager to execute a contract with Paul Brothers Incorporated for the mining park improvements in the amount of $1,211,707.
Thank you. Yeah, I think Paul Brothers did Bornstead Park. Am I right?
You are right.
Yeah, okay, just going back in history, so that's great. Are there any questions? The only thing I was at, when the add-on got explained to me, I go on to Google Street View and stuff and look at, behind Joe's Donuts and stuff, and I just want to make sure, kind of going on the record, that the area, the loading dock and dumpsters for Joe's Donuts kind of get dealt with some sort of, fencing it off, because otherwise when you first kind of pull in, you're kind of looking at this dumpster that's kind of sitting on dirt and all that. So hopefully they can kind of, improve their dumpster area, storage area, and make the whole area look really nice. So I'm really, this is a long time coming. I will tell you that, gosh, I mean, how long it was.
Yeah, it was 2017 when we had a grant originally.
Yeah, we had $680,000 grant to do this, but there was some issues with the SDCs, and we ended up having to give back the grant, which really doesn't look good when you give back a grant for $680,000, especially if you've had it for like a year and you haven't done anything with it. So we had kind of some mea culpas to, apologies to make to the granting folks at the state parks, but I'm so glad you guys were able to get that money again and get this done. And I'm just thrilled with the design. It's going to be great. I think folks are going to really enjoy it, and it's going to really make a difference for Winterfest. And I'm going to be so relieved, because the whole Winterfest thing with those trails and the condition they were in, I remember, Councilor Hokins and me kind of saying, I like the Winterfest, but I am concerned about,
Santa doesn't see as well as he used to. I'm just saying.
All right, great job, Tiana. Thank you so much. May I have a motion to authorize the city manager to execute the contract?
I'll make a motion, we allow the city manager to execute the contract as noted in the staff report.
I'll second the motion.
And that's, to clarify, that's the amended amount with the amendment, correct?
Yeah. So I have a motion from Councilor Sheldon and a second from Councilor Ramsayer to execute a contract with Paul Brothers Inc. for the mining park improvements with the amendments as included in the meeting packet. All those in favor vote aye.
Aye.
Opposed, vote nay. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tiana. They start tomorrow, right?
Pretty close.
Pretty close.
Right
I mean,
after-
it's
right
right
after
around the
Mountain
corner.
Days.
Right after Mountain Festival,
Right.
and estimated completion is end of October, because we
Thanks,
start
guys.
decorating.
I know you have some signage down there. We just want to make sure that people are aware of the park closure.
Yes, so we've already put signs in the park.
Have we recommended alternate parks as part of that closure announcement?
That is a endeavor that we are actively working on. So we talked to Transit. Nothing I'm about to say has been solidified, but just in terms of what we're working on, talked to Transit and working on trying to if there's someone at Mining, hey, did you know about this park? Let's take you over to Cedar so you can check out Cedar. So utilize existing transportation to get people to some other parks and get them familiar with other parks in
Even
the
put a
area.
map.
We could easily do a map.
Yeah, just so people don't know, it's surprising. I mean, I've lived here a long time. There are parks that every now and then I discover some new little neighborhood park, you know, like where'd that come from? But
So we don't have all that worked out yet, but yes, we want to make sure that those in our community that want to access parks know where the parks are and can get there. So we are working on a plan for that.
All right. City manager report?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. First and foremost, I just want to say thank you to all of you and thank you to the entire Sandy community for really rallying together and supporting the victims of the terrible, terrible incident on May 31st. I think it goes without saying that Sandy is oftentimes measured by our summer programs or our winter programs and the successful community events that we throw, but I think we are equally measured on how we come together when we have tragedy or significant events in our community. And I think this was really an example of what this community can do and how they can rally together when there is something tragic that happens. So thank you to all of you and everyone in the greater Sandy community for their support and well wishes and kind words to victims and others that were injured and everyone else that was impacted. Also just want to extend my well wishes to Sergeant Thornton. I know he is slowly but progressively improving. And I know that, well wishes from everyone in the community, council, all of us, that means a lot to he and his family right now. So just extending those well wishes to him. We did reschedule our one and only concert that we have this summer. It was supposed to be on Saturday. That has been rescheduled for next Tuesday, June 16th. As a reminder, it is the only concert we're doing because the park will be closed, obviously for the improvements that you just authorized. Later that week on June 18th, we have the Longest Day Parkway event happening at the Deer Point Park, the new Deer Point Park. And then next Friday, city offices are closed in observance of Juneteenth. So we've got kind of an odd week with the council meeting on Monday, Tuesday concert, Thursday park event, Friday office closure. So busy week next week. As you all are aware already, City Hall is closed to the public with the exception of municipal court or city council meetings today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, just to get rid of or to do some of the demolition work that we need to do here. We will be open to the public for the remainder of the renovations that we're doing upstairs, although it might just be awkward entry and exit points within the building. And there may be a few days where we need to shut down early in terms of excessive noise. If there's so much noise that we can't answer phones or work in the building, we might shut down for an hour or two early, but we'll notice that on social media and make sure that there's signs on the doors. But we're attempting to not have any of those disturbances and just knock out the loudest work over the next couple of days. And then last thing for me, we got word today that someone is ending their chapter in the city of Sandy. Councilor Mayton, I'm sure will speak more to this, but he is rounding out his term here in the next couple of weeks, I think the 27th of this month. So there will need to be a discussion around filling a vacancy. We don't need to do that now, but I will just say that historically, when we've had a vacancy, we've had a much longer period of the term left, like a year or 2 years, which has made sense to go through a recruitment process and interview potential applicants and appoint someone. Councilor Mayton's term ends on December 31st. And so I think there is a discussion to be had on if there's a lot of value in investing that time to do a recruitment, interviews, and appointment that would only yield maybe 3 months of someone. And then depending on how the election goes, they may or may not be there for the long term. So something for us to, or for you all to weigh.
We could check with the city attorney too, what the charter may say
Yeah,
about
apparently
that.
there's an email that I haven't seen because I've been talking for the last little bit, but so something to talk about probably at our next meeting perhaps. And we can make sure that we have some information from the city attorney if we need to share that as well. And with that, I will conclude my narrative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Counselor Hutchinson?
Counselor Mayton. Thank you for your service. We butted heads, especially early on, but I think we came to agree on way more points than we differed on, and I've appreciated your perspective, so. And service, and wish you the best.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So, I mean, your best won't be Sandy, but you know. Second best, yeah. Also want to shout out to the SandyNet folks. I was working the other day at the other house that I'm living in right now, and my internet was a little slow. I realized it's on the slower speed, and so I just went to the website, put in the little thing. I want to upgrade to the. Wasn't 20 minutes. You know, I had a phone call and they were on it, and I was expecting a couple days. So these guys really do a bang up job at customer support. In talking about, you know, what happened this last Sunday, I was able to attend a few of these events. And I found every one of them different and moving and thought provoking. And I just want to really, as you said, the town came together, not just into, you know, those of us who just, you know, live here, but experts volunteered their time and came out, and each with their own approach or strategy on how to help. My first day walking through the park, there was just a lady down there, and she'd done sign art, and it was so early and raw, but the emotions, there weren't a lot of us down there, but it was, I found it healing. Same with the Thursday event later in the park, different set of folks, different experiences, but just as valuable. And then Sunday with the walk was more people. And I think it took a lot of us time to really want to come together. But I think it says a lot about our community. The Washington Post had an article this week talking about domestic violence. Before COVID, domestic violence murders were rough in the country were 1 in 7. 1 in 7 murders was related to a domestic violence situation. After COVID, 1 in 5. Other types of murders have gone down countrywide, not this. It's going up or staying the same. And I think the article pointed out we have a problem, and we do. We have a big problem with this. And the problem is it doesn't have an easy, simple solution that you can just put your finger on and solve it, because it's a whole complex set of issues. But as we think about one of the things that Adriana, I think it was one of the therapists who was talking down there when she was doing a report, she mentioned something about communities and policies and things like that. And it got me thinking about my role as a counselor. What can we do as a council? What can we do in working with our county peers or even our state peers to help? And I think that the area of mental health, I think, needs to be, and mental health resources just needs to be a huge focus, making sure that we, not just us, this isn't our job only, it's the collective bigger we, but making sure people do have access. You talked about that on Sunday, about the need to have those resources available. I heartily support that, whether it's talk to Councilor Hanley, probably you'll talk about it some more too, about how we make those accessible. But we spent a lot of time a year and a half ago talking about homelessness. I think the right approach to talk about homelessness is through the lens of mental health rather than homelessness as its own, because they're very, I think mental health is even a bigger issue, and it spans into the domestic violence and those who still have a home but might be on the brink of homelessness and so forth. So it's just something I'd like to see us think about. What could we do as we spend our money in some of these fringe areas related to mental health, ant farm, homelessness, and other things, to make sure we're not just doing compartmentalized efforts, but looking at it holistically. There's a term in mental health and wraparound services, and that's really what we need to be able to be thinking about. So thank you, and let's talk too much. But thanks.
Thank you. I would like to thank Chief Husky for his leadership. Truly, thank you. I would like to have it put on our thin list if everyone was okay with this, to have a 3-month check-in with our community that this hurt and this tragedy isn't just over when we have moved on to the next. That in 3 months, we need to have a check-in to see, hey, how is everyone doing? How are these victims doing? How are these families doing? What can we as a community do to continue to help and support and make sure that this does not happen again in our community? I would also like to see us maybe immediately on our website, we have all of these amazing resources that were brought to the forefront, but I would love to see them in our community section of our website. Hey, these are resources that are available with our surrounding area or within our community to help those who may be affected by domestic violence or mental health situations. This community is incredible and kind, and I'm very grateful for all of the just for all of the love and support that has been extended throughout, but I would love to see that continue. Thank you.
I've been sitting all week trying to figure out the right words, and there aren't any, so I abandoned that idea. I will say, I believe I've always had a very healthy respect for our first responders, our law enforcement. That now has a different lens. We go to work, we show up for work. God willing, we're not shot at. That is not something our police force can say. And to be able to show up day after day knowing that is a possibility takes an immense amount of courage and bravery, and to serve and protect is actually very fitting. And so thank you, Chief Husky, for leading the department the way you do and for instilling that in our officers. It doesn't make it any easier, but it builds a dome of protection that you are there and they are there, and that you're consistent. And so thank you for that, for me, for the whole community. I think the community has really come together. I had a kind of a off the beaten path sort of connection with Coben McClure. And his memorial at the high school was amazing. Lots of kids had courage to sit up and talk when grown-ups did not. I would like to see him and possibly the other victims honored somehow, some way in a city area, a bench, a swing set, a fountain, something to not only remember them by, but to celebrate their lives and to be a reminder that we all are a community. We're here for each other. A really bad choice brought out really good things in people. And it reminds us that we are a small community. We're not a big city, and those connections make all the difference. And so I appreciate those so much, and for talking with people at the events that I attended. I did have to kind of pull up my bootstraps. I didn't really go anywhere until Wednesday last week. I did have a consortium meeting Wednesday, which I wasn't there.
I was physically there. I listened, I took in the information. It just wasn't on my first choice of things to do, but that's my responsibility. And I just wanted to pass on that the consortium sent their heartfelt condolences to our community and reached out and said that, you know, they were with us in thoughts and prayers and for the victims. I had another thing and it is gone. So, I have a transit meeting on Wednesday. We'll talk about transit. But other than that, it's been hard, but the connections that are made in the community have been really enlightening as to why we all love Sandy so much and why we call this home. And so, thank you to everybody who showed up. Thank you to those who couldn't, who sent well wishes, who prayed, sent good vibes, however you did it. We all felt it in presence or in thought. So thank you.
Yeah, I think Counselor Ramsey said it best. You know, out of something bad comes something good sometimes, and that was a prime example of that. Again, I want to say thanks to Chief Husky for his leadership and getting the information out. I think that was done really well, and you should be proud of your people. And then for the, you know, obviously Sergeant Thornton, you know, well wishes, and I know I've talked to Tyler, and I know that the city's really stepping up and offering a lot of support to the family, and I just want to hope and that will continue, and I know it will. But also to the officer that's on leave following the shooting and his family, that we remember that as well, and their sacrifice. So, because it is hard to go home after things like that too. The other thing is, did we talk? I'm going to shift gears really quick. Did we talk about our economic development meeting? Have we had a meeting since then? I can't remember.
No.
No. Okay. No. So we had an economic development board meeting. Been 3 weeks ago now. And we just kind of hit on that a little bit. But you know, they did a study and found out that we need a hotel in Sandy. It would be beneficial. And so that was I really appreciated all that information, and just kind of seeing some numbers and stats around that. And then also what's applicable to our community as opposed to what we think we need. So that was very interesting. And then the last thing I was going to say too is, man, I have to always remember Jamie's last name, but Jamie Wantowski. I had to look it up there. But Jamie, I think she and the city of Gresham too. I know their chief was at the thing on last Thursday, and just that support, and then all of the other communities around us. For those that don't know, I mean, East County sent, you know, Multnomah County agency sent people, Oregon State Police sent people. I believe I heard Marion County was sending people. So it was a very big response, that just kind of goes to show how everyone steps up when they're needed. So that was really an example of that. So thank you for everyone that did that. That was awesome. Chris, thank you for your service too. I almost forgot to say that. I told you that earlier, but thank you.
It's not over just yet.
Okay, I got one more chance.
So a couple things, if you don't mind giving me a couple more minutes tonight. I wrote down a bunch of stuff, but I'm trying to just say what I want to say off the heart. You know, tonight marks probably my last in-person meeting. Because the next meeting we have, I think I'll be in Denver already. So I'll be virtual. So this is not my last one. It's my second to last one. And it comes kind of blissfully sore because I wanted to sell my house. And I did, but it came with a very short notice. I I moved to Sandy, for those who don't know, in 2006. I moved to Oregon in late 2005 and for my job. And my administrative assistant, I was telling her I was looking for a home to buy, and she said, "Oh, I live in this great community called Sandy. You should come check it out." Of course, I was renting a house in Beaverton. So I drove across the bridge and came out to Sandy, and my wife fell in love with it. And so did I. And so we bought the house, and I've been here ever since. So 20 years now. And raised my kids here, and my wife passed away here. So it's been a big ride. This is bittersweet for me because I'm leaving Sandy, and it comes on the onset of the worst tragedy in Sandy's history. That hurts. I haven't dealt with death very well in the last 5 years, and today's going to be no different. But before I continue about me, I want to just say that my heart hurts for the victims, for the community, for Officer Thornton's family, which my wife worked for, or my girlfriend works for, I'm sorry, for a short time. We know them personally. But this Sandy is so tough and so strong. And I'm proud of the community members. I'm proud of this council, proud of the city staff. I'm especially proud, Chief Husky, of you and your leadership during this time. And what I've seen and experienced, that day I left my house, I was home. I drove over to the scene to see a row of ambulances and really didn't know what was happening other than somebody had been shot and flighted out. I didn't know who it was. I didn't know any of the victims personally, but I know a lot of people that knew them. I just feel it affects everyone in a different way. So coming here tonight, I knew it was going to be tough to talk about, but for me, I've enjoyed my time here. I've loved Sandy. We'll have fond memories for me as I depart it at the end of this month. But I just want to make sure that I say thank you to everyone here for the service you do as well. It's important what we do for the city. Even our differences in opinions matter because there's somebody in the community that has the same opinion as you. And that's what counts. And it's to bring it up and talk about it. For me, the intent is always true. As I lead a group of probably over 1,000 team members across 7 states, I tell them the same thing. I'm always going to be direct and honest with you. But I want you to know my intent is always going to be for you. And that's how I did this job or this role. I was direct and I was honest about things, but it was always with the intent to help Sandy be better. So I am proud about the accomplishments and the things that we've done, both when I was a planning commissioner for 4 years, and I've been on city council now for about 3.5. So I just want to say thank you to you all. But I'll give you one more goodbye in 2 weeks or next week, I think maybe it is. But I've appreciated my time here, and I think it wouldn't be what it was if it wasn't for my other council members, and I've been through a bunch in the last 4 years, or the city staff and the work that you all do every day that keeps this city ticking. It's important. And I leave knowing that the community is strong and caring and capable of meeting any challenge that comes its way, including our wastewater challenge, which we finally, I think, crossed a big hurdle with. So while Denver may become my new home, Sandy will always be a special place in my heart. And I'll forever be grateful for the friendships and memories and the opportunities this community has given to me. So I just say thank you, Sandy. It's been an honor to serve you.
This is some of your daughters still living here that you're going to come visit.
I have one daughter left in Portland. So yeah,
You still got to come.
the rest are different states, but yeah,
Okay, yeah.
none in Denver. So I will be visiting.
Well, I would just echo what everybody has already said. Thank you to the Sandy Police Department for responding to this tragedy. Unprecedented, thoughts and hugs go out to Sergeant Thornton and his family, and the second officer that was also on hand that witnessed the events directly. Thanks to Jamie Wentowski for the service she put together for Thursday night with all the support counselors and all that she had. Thanks to those who organized Coben's Vigil there at the high school. That was just an amazing event and turnout. Thank you to Sam Albrecht from a Living Way Fellowship Church for the organizing the walk. That was also very healing. Thank you to Michael Opperman last night, who put on the concert here at Mighty Park. It was really moving. Coben was a aspiring country singer, had like 3 or 4 guitars or something, and so he was up there playing some of his favorite hits. And so that was just really special to hear that. So we've gotten all sorts of best wishes and thoughts and prayers shared with us from other mayors in other towns and across states, and from Representative Dexter's and the governor's office, and folks have really reached out. So it's not fun to be, on the, 6 o'clock news, but the response that we've had with all our community showing up for one another, doing, funding the GoFundMe's to help deal with the expenses, and the victim support that we've had, the shirts and all these support events has really, in my mind, just, been just a small light of hope here for this community, because I know we can overcome these kind of things because we are such a tight-knit community. I'll echo what Councilor Hanley said about sharing resources. There is a lot of help out there. I remember Chief Husky told me about this monthly event that they have at our library every month, where there's drug addiction counseling. There's homeless help there. There's parole check-in stuff. There's DHS, for housing and food, and just a whole bunch of folks, and they all come together. And so that it's that wraparound services, one-stop shopping. But I didn't see that it was very well advertised, and there wasn't that many people. So the people kind of, if you knew, you knew kind of thing. But what I would like to see going forward is for all these different resources, like you said, we've got to get the word out. We don't necessarily, need to be putting these on ourselves, because that's not our role, but our role is to make sure that everybody in Sandy knows where to get help when they or a neighbor or a friend or whatever needs it. So that's my goal kind of going forward here. So I also kind of agree with the check-ins about kind of just coming, checking in every couple months to see how the victims are doing, to see how we are doing, to see how the police department is doing, making sure that they're getting the support that they need. For the memorials, there's been a lot of discussion about memorials to the victims, and I've got kind of a list of things that could happen, but I'm just going to be waiting a little bit because it's just a little too soon. It's really something that I want to see the families of the victims kind of direct that what they would like to see. We can give them this whole laundry list of that everybody has, so with the sweetest of intentions, have suggested to us, but I want the families to kind of really weigh in and what they'd like to see. That said, thank you for everybody's here, support for all the events that we've had, for being here and understanding our community and helping where possible. And I don't want, I hope we don't ever have to have another week like this, but I am just have a small measure of relief that folks step up to the plate and can really kind of handle adversity when it's thrown our way. So, okay, well, now I'll get back to business before I start crying. The C4, I went to the C4 for you there, Rich. That was an enlightening thing on top of everything else. That's
Great word choice.
Yeah, Clackamas County. Anyway, the first day we did economic development, and it was really interesting. The business, the consultant was from Business Insight, I think. Anyway, she was great, but she just talked about all these facts and figures about how Oregon is, is just getting worse and worse as far as tax competitiveness and all these other benchmarks that she mentioned. It was really shocking. And so one of the things that was a real shocker to me was that Oregon does not have an economic development plan. I'm like, okay, we have one, Clackamas County has one, every other city, but Oregon as a whole doesn't really have one. And so that was really shocking. And so the other kind of stopgap thing there is the fact that they don't, if a developer is coming to Oregon and wanting to develop industrial land or something else, they don't really have a kind of one-stop shopping spot to figure out where in the Portland metro area or our area or East Oregon or whatever it is as to what all is available out there. I don't really honestly have hope that that's going to get all fixed in the next couple of years. It will take, I'm sure, a long time. In the meantime, what I kind of suggested is that we do a better job just as Clackamas County, and there's that Portland Metro part of that thing, to just kind of put together all our resources of what we have available in Sandy to be combined with what they have in Estacada and all these other resources and opportunities that we have, so that it's kind of somewhere where somebody can find it. So the second day, we got to talk all about the 2025 transportation package, which was another and kind of what went wrong and what do we want going forward, preparing for the 2027 transportation package. We talked about what the priorities would be, what the trade-offs are, what's too much of an ask. I think the kind of bottom line for that is that I think most people felt like we need to kind of go slow to go fast and kind of start small and not be asking for the minimum. And that the other key point there was that, there's some real organizational structural changes that need to happen in ODOT before people can really build trust again. So, those were some really good. And there was a lot of discussion about transit, which, because I feel so confident with our transit, and Andy was there and she, so at one point, I think I did say, well, we spent like an hour and a half or more on transit. I feel like, there's other pressing issues, but I hope that group can kind of help get a consensus of what we want our legislatures to do, and really kind of, get us all on the same page so that all the folks in the counselors and the mayors and the staff in Clackamas County can go to the 19 legislatures that represent us in the legislature with kind of a, same song, second verse kind of thing, and ask that they're hearing the same thing. Because I think otherwise, if we all go with our different perceptions and positions, it doesn't hold water. So that was the C4 retreat. The other thing I had today was the LOC's water policy priorities. So this is, when they say water, they mean water, wastewater, and stormwater. So reference that. But one of the things that they are putting together that affect all of you, not necessarily you, Chris, but when you go to the LOC conferences I believe in fall, we end up doing these votes on what the LOC should be representing us on. And, they kind of take all these things and they narrow them down with a vote as to what are the most important policies that we want them to carry water for us. And we ended up with water, for this water subcommittee, we had water infrastructure, again, water, wastewater, and all that. The second was water reuse policy statement, including kind of removing barriers of DEQ. So got that one in there. And then the third one was ratepayer assistance policy statement, trying to kind of get some more assistance for ratepayers. And the fourth one was workforce development, because I guess water and wastewater operators are far and few between in this state, and it's probably too hard and they don't honor what it goes, the other states, what's that reciprocal certificate of the personnel. So things like that. So those were 4 priorities. You are if you go to those conferences, you will be voting probably on 1 or 2 of those. So I feel like we got a pretty good package there. And there has just been more and more discussion about the whole water reuse, the groundwater recharging and things like that. So it's really gaining some ground because more cities are looking at that, especially with the drought that we have. So with that, it's been a hard week, a long week. I was so excited for tomorrow because, the rest of my week is fairly empty. And I think we all need a little bit of recovery time because it has been emotional. So thank you all for coming tonight. Thank you for the progress that we made both on our wastewater and our mining park projects. Thanks. Adjourned.